Street yarn, yes, street yarn don't enter street again. You know, so that's how we dey do am. Once any matter break, we dey enter street to get the reaction and opinion of the people. Anyway, the news now be say the President Bola Tinubu, he don declare state of emergency for inside Rivers State. Now the president, he invoke his powers when be say e dey for section 305 of the 1999 constitution. Come talk say he don declare state of emergency and come remove the governor of Rivers State for 6 months wey him name na Sim Fubara, come put administrator for there. Say oya make dem dey look after the affair of Rivers State for the next 6 months before they come review the whole matter. Now this matter now e don come serious talk, serious argument. Now some people say the president no get right to remove governor wey be say dem vote for, because dem vote for that governor the same way wey be say dem take vote for the president, while others say the president he get power to remove the sitting governor. Now according to the president, he said the reason why I do this one na because of the matter of insecurity for inside Rivers State, the political katakata wey be say dey happen between the governor and the state house of assembly. Say that one e don dey cause some kind wahala, na im make am come invoke this power for section 305 to remove the governor for Rivers State. So the president, he say he do this one because of the katakata, the political katakata wey be say dey happen between the state governor and the state house of assembly. Say this one e don dey cause some kind political tension wey dey cause insecurity for inside Rivers State, wey be say some people don dey threa ten say dem go kasala everywhere for inside Rivers State. Na make I do this one. So how you see am? To support the action of the president to declare state of emergency and remove the governor of Rivers State, you support the president? Drop your comment for inside the comment section. Make we enter street, make we ask some people their opinion for inside this matter. My name na diplomatic legelege. This na street yarn. Where we dey go?
Well, I don't know whether we have to make it. It's not a matter of opinion. It is unconstitutional because you don't have that power to remove an elected governor of a state. No way. No way. And because it was a planned script, then they now went to bust a pipe. And Fubara said that that pipe that was bust was by the other group, not the Jaws. So nobody should be thinking of the Jaws that bust that. So they use that as a lame excuse to say, oh, there's a breakdown of law and order. Let's declare emergency. The meanwhile you're declaring emergency, how do you declare emergency when you didn't pass it through the House? The House didn't even approve of it because the president doesn't even have the power by himself to do it. You have to present it to the House, and the House must approve. The House didn't approve. Then you want to make an announcement. You are acting illegally, unconstitutionally. The action itself is unconstitutional. But you see, here impunity rides so high in Nigeria. So anybody just think that, oh, because you're president or because you think you're governor, you do anything you like. And please, we've gone beyond that. We've gone beyond that. There must be law and order. And in any case, how can a president be siding if there are two people quarreling? You see a godfather and a godson. If they are quarreling, who should mediate? It's not the president. He called them, then told all of them to withdraw their papers. Fubara obeyed. The other people didn't obey. Then they carried their paper and started pursuing it through the judiciary, through the courts, till it rose up to the Supreme Court. Now, what happens? Was that fair? Was that fair at all? It just was not fair on Fubara that you allowed him to become a scapegoat of an evil plan. And in any case, the sad thing, more than anything else, is the vaulting ambition of Tinubu, who wants to be the president in 2027. To him, leave the country people wretched, leave them poor, no democracy, dividends shared. All you want to do is make sure that you're already there, you'll be there to 27, and we are suspecting that he wants to be there beyond 2031. That is his plan. And so you want to make sure Kano is in your hold, Lagos in your hold, Osun is in your hold, Edo is in your hold, Rivers is in your hold. That's all the game. What kind of game is that? And then look at it, you've damaged the democratic structures in Rivers for the next 6 months.
No, not to support. Because if you want to deal with some kind of person, there's a way you sort out things without removing the person from his or her post. So I'm not in support of what he did. Removing Wike as minister doesn't necessarily mean anything. So he can still retain him as a minister if he wants. So the decision is left for him to do.
But what he did is wrong. At least there are some way they settle issues. So me, I'm not in support while removing the governor. Yes, me I support Wike because Wike own too much. Me I support Wike, make they remove am. But make they return that man. Make they return the governor. For that 6 months is too long.
Well, the situation in Rivers State, first of all, is a constitutional matter. The president cannot just come out to talk on issues that are not part of the constitution. I think section 305 and other sections gives room for that. What has happened in Rivers State for me is supposed to be a lesson for the political gladiators, because by now they should learn their lessons that they need to resolve. You cannot go into a crisis and you don't give room for negotiation. That's what brought that Rivers State to where it is today. Yes, there are differences which is expected in politics, but you must always create room for negotiation, for settlement, for compromise. It's not politics is not about 1+1, it must be 2. Sometimes 1+1 could be 1.5, because you must give room for discussions. So what has happened between Fubara and Wike and their supporters is that the two parties took extreme positions. But I believe, like a senior politician said yesterday, I believe these 6 months they will learn their lesson and go back to the drawing board, because it is about the people of Rivers State, not about the individuals.
Under the section of that 305 is not stipulating that they should declare state of emergency immediately. If state of emergency was to be declared, there are due process they have to follow. It has to pass through the National Assembly. They have to deliberate on it. So you can see what Mr. President has done is illegal to me, and there's something fictional. Even the person that is actually skyrocketing the unrest in Rivers State, is it not his minister who they call Wike? Is his minister. Why can't he call the minister the Wike to order? Since they have been telling him, Mr. President, intervene in this issue. They have seen now something has escalated, destroying our pipeline, which Nigeria, they are going to salvage it with our own money. If the president is not biased, he would have removed one of the suspects causing unrest in Rivers State. He would have suspended Wike. He would have suspended him. But it's a country whereby that is being is a partisan. He's partisan. That's what I'll call him very much. With what has just happened, is clearly noticed that the president is biased. To me, I like what the president is doing in the country to make sure to stabilize. But this issue of Rivers crisis, they called his attention before now. He could not wait in to make sure that all things work together so that Rivers State will be okay. But we'll just, I just pray. But to me, with what has happened in Rivers State, it's going to escalate more.
For the avoidance of doubt, may I just read section 305, subsection 1. Subject to the provisions of this constitution, the president may, by instrument published in the official gazette of the government of the federation, issue a proclamation of a state of emergency in the federation or any part thereof. You know that Rivers State is a part of the federation. Subsection 2 says that the president shall, immediately after the publication, transmit copies of the official gazette of the government of the federation containing the proclamation, including the details of the emergency, to the president of the Senate, the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Each of them shall forthwith convene or arrange for a meeting of the House, of which he is president or speaker, as the case may be, to consider the situation and decide whether or not to pass a resolution approving the proclamation. What that means is that the president can make a proclamation, but is subject to the approval of the House of Representatives, the House of Senate. Now, the president shall have the power to issue that subsection 3 now, a state of emergency in the following situations. 1, when the federation is at war. 2, when the federation is in imminent danger or invasion or involvement in a state of war. 3, when there is an actual breakdown of public order and public safety in the federation or any part thereof, in such extent as to require extraordinary measures to restore peace and security. 4, when there is a clear and present danger of an actual breakdown of public order and public safety in the federation or any part thereof, requiring extraordinary measures to avert such danger. 5, when there is an occurrence or imminent danger of the occurrence of any disaster or natural calamity affecting the community or section of the community or in the federation. 6, when there is any other public danger which clearly constitutes a threat to the existing federation, or if president receives a request to do so in accordance with provision of the constitution, subsection 4, which is when the governor requests. Now, section 25 of the Terrorism Prohibition Act 2013 as amended, subsection 1 says that the president has powers to impose a state of emergency in the federation or any part thereof. Subsection 2 says that in furtherance of the powers of the president to issue or impose a state of emergency, that the president shall do anything that is necessary to ensure the maintenance of law and order. So that is where we find that what is necessary is in the opinion of the president. That is why the suspension of the House of Assembly and the governor of Rivers State for 6 months, pending when normalcy will restore. Absolutely, as you know, that the governor have said that when he gives the sign, they will know, the youth will know, and they will take to actions. And you would recall that there have been palpable threats by non-state actors saying that they will pound Rivers State. And to confirm that yesterday, the trans Niger pipeline was blown up. The pipeline that I hear that the worth of fixing it would cost about 3.5 million US dollars. Yesterday evening, another pipeline was also blown up. So there's already a breakdown of law and order in the state. As you are aware, there is really no much governance going on in Rivers State for the position state of emergency after the Supreme Court judgment. The Supreme Court even said that the governor has collapsed the legislature. It's clear in the judgment of the Supreme Court that was given on the 28th of February. So there seems to be a lot going on, and the president, in his wisdom, stepped in to maintain law and order. I think the conditions precedent had been fulfilled.